After failing to remove the speaker yesterday, the Tshwane Metro Council is now proceeding with the election of a new mayor. Our reporter Moloko Moloto is inside the council chambers. Let's take you live there now to get an understanding of what is really happening inside the chamber. Moloko, good afternoon again. Thanks for your time here on today. Well, it looks like finally some voting is happening for a new mayor of Tshwane.
Good afternoon, Braden Moyane. Yes, indeed. There seems to be light at the end of this tunnel. We may not know what actually is coming on that other side of the tunnel. It could be that somebody is certainly coming to rescue Tshwane, or it could be that it is a train coming to crash on those who are hoping that there would be headway and progress here in Tshwane. Voting is underway already. The councillors, over 200 of them, are casting their ballot through a secret ballot. We saw what happened a few weeks back when they voted for the executive mayor. Some of the councillors from the DA-led coalition voted for the ANC's sponsored mayoral candidate Murunwa Makwarela, and as a result, the Action SA, which is in a coalition with the Democratic Alliance and the FF+, responded by dismissing or firing the councillors it suspected voted against the party line. And we know the Democratic Alliance instituted a polygraph or a lie detector test. And unfortunately, to date, they haven't announced the results. We know that Action SA fired 3 councillors. There possibly are still about 8 within the rank and file of the Democratic Alliance, or even Action SA or the FF+. And those 5 councillors who still remain, they are also voting today. We don't know whether they would have changed their mind. We heard, of course, the ANC's George Machila making a claim that senior party leaders of the DA, including the former executive mayor Randall Williams, actually failed that polygraph test, and the DA never wanted to release the results of that polygraph test. Now, maybe let's bring into this conversation one man who is no stranger to the city of Tshwane. His name is Mr. Abel Tau. He is now a leader of the newly founded United African Transformation Party. This is after he was fired from Action SA. Mr. Tau, thank you so much for your time. It's been a turbulent roller coaster in the past weeks. We have a mayor. At some point, he's gone. We still don't have a mayor. How did we get here? What should be the solution going forward in the remaining 3.5 years, if not 4?
Look, thank you very much for having us. Indeed, it is unfortunate that it is more like deja vu for the city of Tshwane. We are almost reliving the events of 2019-2020 with administration and the likes. But what is different from that era is that today we clearly can, as citizens of Tshwane and as residents and as an individual who has led this city at the cockpit, I do believe that this is probably the one time that you do need provincial intervention. You would appreciate the fact that as much as voting is underway here in the city of Tshwane, you have a mayoral candidate from the DA side who was not part of that caucus which had led this city up until now. Now, what that simply means is that the DA does not have confidence in one of their own. But we've also seen, like you correctly said in your introduction, that the election of Murunwa Makwarela did signal that members of the DA caucus had effectively said they don't trust the incumbent, and correctly so. This is a man who was, part of the mayoral committee that brought us the Clat Africa scandal, that sold the mayoral house in Tshwane. To date, those houses are nowhere to be found. That led the charge towards making sure that people in Hammanskraal have clean drinkable water, and they still don't have. So really, there is no candidate as we see.
All right, you clearly are calling for the provincial government to intervene in terms of Section 139 of the Constitution to put this municipality under administration. But you, sir, Mr. Tau, have been holding several positions here. While you were still in the DA, I think you were an MMC for one portfolio, and you were also an MMC when you were with Action SA. And I think, if I'm not wrong, you were once acting mayor here. we are sitting today, this municipality has incurred in the previous financial year, you were there in council, incurred irregular expenditure of about 10 billion rand. What went wrong to your knowledge? Why are we here? What role did you think you, as part of the governing collective at the time, did you play?
Look, I have actually sounded an alarm more than 3 times. I appeared within what is called the Coalition Oversight Group, and I said the mayor that was here was incompetent. I said that before we even went into elections during the campaign, because I had known the man and I knew that he did not have what it takes to lead the city as big as the city of Tshwane, but also the capital of our country. And I was proven right. I mean, we have incurred irregular expenditure, but I'm also the one guy who blew the whistle on the Kratos Unsolicited corrupt deal that was here, for which cases were opened with the subs and all of those. So I'm saying I know the capacity of the people. Fortunately, I was actually the regional chairperson of the DA at some point. So I know all of these councillors who are sitting in those benches, and I know they don't have the capacity.
We don't have time. Unfortunately, in as much as you were raising all those things, I'm happy you remained as a councillor, because you were an MMC at the time until you got fired. Let's talk about your party now. You formed a new political party, but before we come to that, how far is your case? Because you were challenging your expulsion from Action SA, despite you said you are going to court while you have your party now that you found it. But also give us an update with regard to the sexual harassment case against you. It's being investigated by the court. What's an update there?
Look, the update is very simple. I've always maintained that let's give the law the space. When issues are before our court, we have all the confidence with our court. On the 8th of last month, the matter was supposed to come before a judge. Prosecution then pulled the matter from the roll. Obviously, after my legal team had made presentations to say they believe they don't have a case, they have to come back to us. But basically, we have subjected ourselves fully to the legal process. We have all the confidence in the criminal justice system of our country to treat, every criminal case as such, irrespective of who is the individual accused. And I'm happy to subject myself like I have always done. And we must encourage people to report GBV.
All right. Thank you so much, Abel Tawu, leader of the United African Transformation, a new party that doesn't have a seat in here. It was only founded in the past few weeks. And he is clear. He says the provincial government must intervene. If it were to do that, it would not be for the first time. It did so in the past 2, if not 3 years. And at the rate things are going, of course, that will also depend as to whether the newly elected mayor who emerges out of today's special council meeting will also survive in this hot seat.
Thank you very much, Moloko Moloto. We'll have to wait and see for the outcome of this voting. We'll catch up with you a little bit later. That's Moloko Moloto.